But as a kid, growing up in the south side of Glasgow, I used to overlook Hampden Park up on the hill, and we'd play football when all the big games were going on. And 9 times out of 10 it was Celtic Rangers, and then gradually you start going to the games. And literally, as Rangers crossed the halfway line, I felt sick, but the pressure was unbelievable. Manchester United, the expectation is you win every game. The crowd are massive, you know. But I used to like playing away from home, so the game at Main Road in those days was good because you felt a little bit less pressure. So my first North London derby was a cracker. I think it was my first one, I think it was. We won 5-0, Spurs won 5-0, and I scored. But I got one in that 5-0 win, and are we ever going to see that again, 5-0? I'm not so sure, but I remember Chris Hughton, the Brighton manager, scored 2. Mark Falco, I think he got 2. One of them was an absolute gem, a cracker. Mine was simple. I ran from the halfway line and stuck it past the goalkeeper. Ipswich Norwich were big derbies, you know, because when I was a kid, I left Glasgow, didn't get to play for Celtic, but played through the junior ranks, Celtic Boys Club. So it broke my heart to leave Glasgow, but Bobby Robson and Ipswich was too good to turn down. So we grew up in the youth team, in the reserves, and in the first team, Ipswich Norwich. That was my first taste of professional derbies. And in the youth team I had a great month one year. 1 month I scored 16 goals in 1 month in four games, and 4 was against Norwich at Carrow Road. So I'll never forget that, even though that was not first team. Then reserves and then first team you play. Those were great games because it meant so much. The fans again, that's what derbies are all about. The bragging rights, the fans. But that's the Suffolk derby, they call it the tractor derby. There's 45 minutes between the clubs. Whereas North London is totally different, and Celtic Rangers totally different. Everton Liverpool is across Stanley Park, so they're even more. You know, it's so close, and the hatred is unbelievable. Maybe some of the foreign players don't understand it, especially the first couple of derbies. But the guys who live and brought up in London or Manchester or Glasgow, they know what it's all about. Or Liverpool, of course, they know what it's about. So you know, for 20 minutes it's going to be 100 miles an hour. Before you know it, 20 minutes are gone, you say, what? It is fast and furious, and the punters are screaming at each other, and you know the rivalry between them. When a Celtic Rangers, I'd say it's hatred. I watched the big one at Hampden, and I was in the Scotland squad, so that had been 82, when at the end of the game Celtic scored in injury time, and all the police were outside. Some people started throwing things, and the fans at the bottom and the Rangers end had to get out of the way, and once we were on the pitch I thought, aye. And they got on the pitch, and then Celtic fans got in the end, if it wasn't for 4 police horses, it'd have been a disaster. And I mean, they were fighting on the halfway line. So gladly those bad dark days are gone. But for me, it's more than football, it's religion. It's Catholic Protestant, it's been handed down through generations. Hopefully it's getting a bit better, but I'd be a liar if I said it was.